Hi guys. Okay, so I just want to take 2 minutes to reach out to the parents and the children that are considered slow or have different learning abilities. There's so much to talk about on this topic, but I want to make it just try to go really fast to get all my points across. Okay, so I'm going to use my son as an example. You would see Heartbeat today and see him as, oh my god, this child is so intelligent or he's doing so well. But that didn't just come about like that. At one point, my son was considered the slowest child in the group. He don't know nothing, he just did like he in space, and he was somebody that you would just put in the back of the class and forget about because it's like he not on the same level. He don't know nothing, he can't do nothing. That's how people would see him if they didn't understand him. So first of all, you have to understand your children. And everybody learns differently at different time, and everybody have their weakness and their strength. Kill my son dead, he don't like to write. Does not like to write. But if he has to come and teach his friends, and that's how I get to motivate him to write. Come and teach your friend something, and he will grab the chalk and he will start writing. Come and write an apology to mommy because you were being naughty. He will come and write something because he wants to make me feel good. So I use little tricks to get him to write because I know that is his weak area. Habit has a lot of strengths, but like I said, it did not come about just like that. In the beginning, it was very difficult for him, especially with his communication skills and social skills. So he didn't have that at all. And the point where I realized that was one day when I went to pick him up from the daycare. No, I went to drop him to the daycare, and somebody made a comment. Everybody's saying the ABC, but Heartbeat can't say he ABC. And I was like, I don't understand. He's a toddler. I can't remember his age, but I think it's like 1+. And I'm like, so that is how they see him, as he can say ABC. So even if he can't say his ABC, is that not a development center where you try to teach him? And then that's when I realized, at that moment is when I realized, you see this, I am responsible for my child education. I'm not going to put that in anybody else's hand. Another point that kind of changed his direction is when my husband came on my time and said, all them other children out the road could have certain conversation or explain certain things, and Heartbeat doesn't do that. So like a two-year-old would say, mommy, I want some juice, or I want to pee, and at that stage Heartbeat was not doing that. He was like practically not really communicating. That's when I realized that he was different. He had a different learning ability. So that means it took him longer to do things that we would say is normal. What are these? So I realized, and I had to assess from 1+ into his 2 year. I started researching and changing a lot of his activities, learning activities. So first of all, I downloaded a lot of apps, educational apps. So I would never allow him to watch like regular cartoons like Peppa Pig and things with children throwing tantrums and being rude. I don't show him these things. Anything with numbers, colors, sight words, that is what I would make him watch. And I would have a lot of one-on-one with him. Like I bought a lot of things so hard in terms of education, because I realized that I cannot depend on any organization like the school or the daycares or anybody to educate my child. That is my responsibility. Alright, so I took it on my own to educate my child. So early, when he wasn't communicating properly, I bought, if you know what, this is a communication textbook. So it has things like, what do you want? Do you want to play? Do you want to sleep? Because like I said, he was not communicating at his level. And that would make people who didn't know him treat him differently. It's like, I'm talking to the child and he's not responding, or I'm trying to help him and he's not interacting with me the way he's supposed to. And they would push him away or treat him differently. So I had to realize, no, something is different about my child, and started educating people that is in his circle. So my family, I say, listen, this is how he is, this is what you could get from him, and these are things you will not be able to get from him. I never and will never allow my son to go on the beach with anybody, because since he was a baby, he just had this fearlessness and confidence in himself that he could swim. So he would go in the sea and he would just swim out where you cannot stand up. He's drowning, but he's still going. So somebody else would think Well, the child can swim, so I don't expect him to go where he cannot stand up. You turn your back on him, and then my son going. You understand? So I would not put that responsibility on anybody. Yes, for the children that we consider to be slow, parents, if you have a child that has a learning disability or learning strengths and weakness, try to find it, please. Assess them. Even if you are not educated in certain areas yourself, there are ways you could work with that child. A lot of persons who are doctors, lawyers, nurses, teachers have parents that they grow up with, or even you grow with your grandparents. They cannot read and they cannot write, but they make sure that you went to school and got a proper education. When you come home with your homework, they ask you to open the book and read it. What does this say? What is your homework saying? Mommy, it says 5 plus 5. And they go, what is 5 plus 5? And you, well, no, you have to know it. That's what I send in your school to school for. You have to know it, because they themselves, they don't know it, but they want to make sure that you get it. And they will say, well, go and ask your big sister, go and ask the neighbor, and come back and make sure you do your homework. So they never gave up on us. So why are we having our children like it's the school responsibility to educate them? It's not solely the school responsibility. It's a job. And as with any job, persons who love their job and do it to the best of their ability, and there are persons who's just there for the money. So it's like, I come to school to teach, my work is on the board. It's either you sink or you float. You could do it or you can do it. That is not my business. At the end of the day, I getting paid. That's their job. But as a parent, it's your responsibility to make sure that your child gets the best education. So you have to go all out. I know today it's kind of hard with the loss of jobs and everything that's been going on with the whole COVID and everything, but that shouldn't stop you. And it is best if you start at an early age to educate your children at home. This is Heartbeat's room, and if you look, you would see that I have a lot of stuff around that is education wise, like his timetables. I have his time charts. I have a whole set of puzzle pieces, flashcards, things that he's been doing from without the school. He has not gone to this level at school yet, but at home we do it. So you would see him and think that he's advanced, but it's because he keeps getting that push because he was so slow. And even with that, he is gifted in certain areas, but in some areas he's still very slow. Like Heartbeat is like 5 years old, and he's only now starting to communicate as a 5-year-old. Before he would go to school and visit him, don't give up on them. Heartbeat, how was school today? And his response would always be repeating the question, how was school today? And he looking left, he looking right, he looking for something to, he's very easily distracted, and he has a short attention span and very hyper. So you have to know your child and know how to work with them. So because I know he has a short attention span, I have to teach him very quick. So you're going to learn something, we're going to learn this in 5 minutes, we're going to learn this in 2 minutes, and that's it. You could go and play or do something else. You have to have structure. So listen, baby, I know you don't want to settle, I know you want to play, but this is important. You need to sit down and do this. So you have to have a balance between educating your children and providing for them. It's not just buying shoes and buying the books and giving it to them. Even if you, like I said, cannot read or write, let them use the same computer, the tablet that they're always on. And what are you watching? You stand up over them. But this isn't making sense. This is not teaching you anything. Go and watch something educational and let them pull it up, and you sit over them and you watch it with them. So you see that they are learning something. Go on YouTube and type in addition videos, type in subtraction videos, type in the days of the week and the months of the year, and you would get it. Type in how to greet people in Spanish, and you would get it. And you sit over them and you watch them and make sure they learn it, even if you yourself don't know it. Because a lot of the words that my son could spell, I swear I'm dyslexic. A lot of the words that my son could spell, I cannot spell it. I have to get a pen and paper and write down and say, but that don't looking right. And you know, it takes me a while to get it. The timetables, my husband and my son could just stand up and spit out the timetables, and me is like, if you ask me 9 6, I have to get a pen and paper and kind of jot down and count and add up until I get the 9 times 6. It's like, it's hard for me. But I don't let that be the same thing with my child. I start from early so that he could be able to do the things that I cannot do. Right, so we're going back to the slow children again. Teachers, please stop putting these children in the back of the class. That is not where they belong. If you see children have learning disabilities and you find they're slow, they need extra help, these children should be sitting right next to you. So those fast children, or the children that could handle themselves, You give them the work and you know they could handle themselves, you monitor them. But the slow ones, the table is close to you so you could watch them. You getting it? You spend a little extra 2 minutes over their shoulder and you let them do it. Or you let them do something else that you know they're strong in, and when everybody else is doing something else, you take a one-on-one. Come, give me 5 minutes of your break. So you're gonna have break with me, and then we're gonna go over what we did today. For me to learn, I have to read, I have to reread, I have to write, I have to circle, I have to underline, and that is how I learn, and that is how I remember things. My son, and I think my husband to a lesser extent, have retaining memories. So you just tell them something and it sticks in their head. I cannot learn like that. You could tell my son a number, your phone number or your date of birth, and 3 weeks later you see him and you ask him what's my date of birth, and he could tell you. With me, I would not remember. You tell me a phone number now, 4445284, and I'm like, what's the number again? 444 what? He's like, I don't have it. I don't learn like that. So everybody learns differently. You have to find the strength and the weakness. Don't let it break you down that your children are not performing as the others, because I know how it feels. I'm that parent whose child does not perform as well as the others. As intelligent as my child might seem to you, it is very challenging to have to deal with a child with qualities of like my son. And I know there's a lot of children who are very hyperactive. They can't sit still. They can't. You're talking to them and it's like you have to literally turn their face. Because if you see some of the videos with Habit, it's like I'm speaking to him and I have to keep turning his face to me, or if he loves to make videos, so I try to encourage him and push him. He keep asking for the videos. So I know that is one of his strengths. But like I said, he cannot focus for 2 seconds, so I have to be on him. So I know for him in school, it must be challenging for the teachers. So anybody that has to be in your children's circle, please educate them as to the type of person your child is. Everybody is different. Everybody has their own personalities and like their weakness and their strength. You go to the school, you're supposed to first know your children, know their strengths and their weak areas. And you tell the teacher, listen, my child don't like to write, but there are ways you could encourage them, and the teacher might be able to tell you, okay, well, if you don't like to write, there's not a problem, I know how to work with him. My child don't like to spell at all. So you and the teacher could come up with something else. Everybody should be on an individual basis. It's not like you have a curriculum and you have to follow this curriculum and this is what the government sends, so this is what you have to learn. Everybody will learn differently. For some persons, if you have to spell a word, you could tap COMMEN. You know, like you tap in, so then you could kind of remember. Some persons would like to link words to, okay, come and combinations, so you kind of link words together to build it. Break it up in syllables. Everybody would have different ways. With my son, you just tell him this how to spell a word. You teach him 3 times. This is how you spell this word, and it stays in his brain. He remembers. I cannot remember like that, and a lot of other people learn differently. So parents and teachers are like, let's try to work with these young people from an early age. Persons in the daycare and early developmental centers should be the first persons to pick up these things. That okay, this child has a different ability. Don't push them away. Don't ignore them. Don't put them in the back of the group. Don't label them. Find a way to fit them in. There must be a way to fit them in. They must have strengths. We don't just we're not built on just one I can't find the word I want to say. But we have strengths and we have weaknesses. So we don't just build on one. You have a strength and like you just focus on the strengths. I don't just focus on my son's strengths. I already know his strengths. So if I have to give him lessons, I don't focus on reading and spelling because I know he could do that. But his writing is very low, so I will try to help him with this. Social skills is extremely low, so I try to teach him, okay, this is what you do, this is what you don't do, this is how you treat people, this is how you react to people, because he just don't know these things. And another thing from early again, you know, there's this stranger danger and teaching children about sexual abuse and these things. My son would not have understand these things because he had no sense of danger. He would meet a stranger and he would go up to them like most children would do, and he's obsessed with watches and time. So from since he was baby he liked watches and he knows time. So he will go and touch your hand, watch the time, and some people will just allow their children to gravitate to strangers. Oh, is that okay, man? And you have your child sitting on a stranger's lap, like why? You have your child sitting in the back of the bus while you sitting in the front of the bus, like why? Keep your
Mommy,
children with you.
I need to teach my friends today.
You go teach your friends later. But anyways, the child come back home, so you know I don't have time for myself again. Did you buy me something?
Yes.
What did you buy me?
I got some lollipop.
Did you get me a chocolate?
You don't have green chocolate.
Oh, you don't have. So can I have a lollipop?
Yes, one for me and one.
Thank you so much. I appreciate that.
I'm so sweaty.
You sweaty?
Yes, I'm hot.
Anyways, people, I lose my train of thought because my distraction is back.
Exactly.
So don't give up on them. Don't put them in the back of the class, and parents don't ignore them, because sometimes we have one child that is very intelligent, as we say, and another one that is very slow, and we would always promote the intelligent one. Oh, he's so smart and she's doing so well in school, and the other one feels bad.
Thank you.
The other one feels bad because mommy don't boast me up. Boast up your children, make them feel good. Even if they come 10, 11, 12, even if they come last in class, say listen, I know you could do better, we will work on it. Don't feel bad, but this is something to build you. Not everybody gonna come first, not everybody gonna come second, right? So we have to work with what we have and don't give up on these kids. And early intervention, step in early o'clock. You put out for your children. Anyways, thanks for watching.
I need to make my video
In a
about
minute.
numbers and